Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. One Piece chapter review. This chapter gets 5 out of 5. I'm not joking around. This essentially, I loved how they did this. No fooling around. Name of the chapter was 719. Open Chinjao. Now, essentially what this chapter was a quote-unquote flashback mixed in with present events. That's essentially what it was. And the reason why I say I like this chapter, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5, is because how they did it. They had Luffy fighting Chinjao. They had him fighting. But then, during the fight, when, he goes up high in the sky, Luffy, we see a flashback of Chinjao, what he really looked like 30 years ago. And we see CONE HEAD! We come from France! Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do the joke. Come on. And what happened in that flashback was Garp using armament hockey and vice versa, Chinjao using armament hockey on his CONE head converged, and Garp literally shrunk or impounded Chinjao's head. So, and then and what made it even better, he's crying over it. He was like, he can't get his treasure. All his hard work didn't pay off in the end. It was just a terrible experience for Chinjao. And vice versa, we go to the present time. Luffy does the exact same thing. Well, close to. It's elephant gun, armament hockey on his hand, and hits Chinjao and corrects his head. That to me was like two events happening one after another. That's what I loved about this chapter, was that. I loved how Oda pulled this off. This was done almost like it was done clockwork. It was like flashback, head flat. Present time, head corrected. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah. But, beginning part of this chapter, we have, Chinjao saying not too shabby. And another thing about this chapter was what Chinjao told Luffy, which was pretty fucked up. He was really throwing a lot of shots fired, at Luffy. Because not only was he saying about how, oh, you guys, you're the only reason why Green Hordes have had been inflated is simply because you were labeled the worst generation, but it is impossible for you ever to accomplish it in the sea. We fought it. And it was almost as if Chinjao was saying the only one he's familiar with to a degree is Blackbeard. And this is the shot he threw at Luffy. He says, you still lack the requisite strength to bear fangs at me. Just stop being a pirate. Even Rayleigh, snot-nosed brat is going to be able to lead the way for the new generation, and he's out more just than I am. And then he says it was a brilliant move by the Marines to cleanse that demonic blood 2 years ago. And you know what he was talking about? Ace. Luffy got really pissed. And then Chinjao just yells at him saying, defeating the Marine Admirals, the 4 Yonko, do you really think you ever would have tasted the sea giant, Roger? Don't make me fucking laugh. He's screaming at him. Luffy was pissed, and then he does a Gomu no mock rocket after that conversation. Goes into the air. Announcer says a few things, saying he flew. He says baptism by fire, and he says, along with the rage I've built up for Garp over 30 years ago, past 30 years, you're going to taste every ounce of it, this single blow Straw Hat Luffy. Then we go to a flashback, and this flashback, I have to say, was fantastic. We get to see Chinjao, and holy shit. Chinjao's head is basically this cone. We come from France. And he literally just carves. And this is why. This is the whole pit with him splitting a continent in half. This is the whole gist. Because of his head. It was actually a cone head, and he was able to do that. So, because the whole gist was that he needed that head to extract the treasure that was beneath this ice. So he does this open Chinjao. And you see him, he's got a cone head. Yo, that was crazy. Did that catch your attention, men? Round up those thieves and shift adrift to the open seas. And saying it was just a lucky day, all the past sufferings, hopes for the future. Centuries worth of treasure belongs to my clansmen. I shall never let anyone near it. And this was 30 years ago. Chinjao the Drill. He was called the Drill. And then we see this fight between Garp and Chinjao. Garp? Yo. Garp was beast. The fact that Garp was able to flatten Chinjao's head. His head, mind you, the cone head was with armament hockey. So basically what happened was Garp's got armament hockey in his fist, Chinjao's got armament hockey in his head, and they collided. And it was just like a bong, almost like 2 bells ringing. Unbelievable. Totally ridiculous. A shockwave in me. And then he just flattens his head. And then the next page we have retreat, all ships retreat. Head, thank God you're all right. And they call him Head, apparently. And the whole Kyugi, that is, dragon nail something, I think. Dragon nail. That's the move, it's called. And he says, open Chinjao, and pretty much he's crying, he's sobbing, it won't open. He says, if you keep doing it, you'll die, and what should I do? It's my treasure. And he's cursing Garp, basically. He's crying. It's like, oh my God. You know? This man is trying, all his wealth is beneath this ice, and he can't get to it. It's pretty sad, I mean, that. But what's even funnier is what happened after that scene. And he's like, he curses his children. Not even your children, curse you, Garp. Never forgive you, even your children. And then he's go back to the present. He says, then and there, I quit being a pirate, and lost my secret move, my growing wealth, and most importantly, I will have been crushed. Watch carefully, Garp, as I send your grandkid to the afterlife. And that's when he says, atone for your sins, you know, blah, blah, blah. And Impact Fist, Final Technique, Hoshokin Yugi, and then, yeah, Drillless Dragon. And this was funny. Luffy apparently says Gomu no Thor. I was like, Thor. I was like, okay, that's too much. A little bit too much, but he basically hits Garp. I mean, Chinjao with the elephant gun, drill a snail, and the hit hits Chinjao. At first, it doesn't look like it does anything, but then the next panel, it hits him, and basically, I think it's the back of his head starts to go up. And I was like, irony. That I don't know if you want to call it irony. I mean, I call it irony. Here you have Chinjao, who sought revenge on Garp and everyone Garp holds dear. And yet, a relative of Garp returned Chinjao's head to its original shape. I find it ironic, but anyway, that's what's not happening. And then he falls onto the ring, he breaks it in half, Chinjao, and falls into the water. And we got the two members of his group saying, "Grandfather, Granddad," and he's out of bounds. And now, "What a man, he annihilated the living legend," saying Lucy stands on top of a sea block. And we see Chinjao falling to the bottom of the ocean water, and I'm like, hey, he got his head back! That's why I look at it. It's so ironic that, I mean, I feel bad for Chinjao. I really do. I don't know what you guys have to say, but I feel bad for him. I mean, but the way I look at it is this. Now he can go get his treasure. He's got his head back. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. So then we have another scene with Cavendish. I got nothing against Cavendish, but Bartolomeo, he's looking at him like, he's mine. There was a scene there, and he's like, Lucy, my ass, you know, you won't be lucky enough to escape this time, Straw Hat. And Bartolomeo's like, don't make me repeat myself. You won't be the one to kill him, Cavendish. And then he says, Bartolomeo's repeating to Cavendish, you know, bring it on, tough guy. And we see Bellamy. Listen. Give Kobe the Fist, Bellamy Kobe the Fist, some props. Bellamy is going to have an important role. And also we see Burgess. And he knows. He knows that's Luffy. And he's like, Straw Hat? He's like, this is awesome. So that's how it is. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And Burgess fine. Even Burgess finally figured it out. So, and the way I see it is this. This is my final thoughts on it. Like I said, I give this a 5 out of 5. Final thoughts on this chapter. I see Bartolomeo possibly fighting Luffy. Possibly. Rather him, Bellamy. Or Bellamy's going to try something. But I don't see, listen, I can't see Bellamy killing Luffy. I just don't see it. I think, in fact, he's not going to kill Luffy. I think he's going to be, you know, one of those things where he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He'll be torn. He's going to be a conflict. There's going to be a confliction. Conflicting character. Now, Uber Akari made a video on that. You know, how, I forgot the word he was using. He used a specific word. You know, a character who's, you know, between good and evil, what side he chooses. Because I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Cavendish is going to fight Luffy. I think it's Bartolomeo. Rather him or Burgess. But overall, I love this chapter. Loved how they did the flashback. Tell me what you guys think. Because I personally loved it. It was just so crazy to see Chinjao. Now we know why he hated Garp. Now we know why what his beef was. It was his head. It was his head. He just is shrunken. We come from France. Trust me, I'm not going to continue doing that. I'm just going to say it one more time. That's it. But yeah, great chapter. Good stuff. You know the story. As you know, as I've already said this before in the live stream and everywhere else, people, I won't be here next week. There will be scheduled uploads. I got 5. Yes, 5. There's going to be at least 2 discussion videos. One on Bleach, one on Shingeki no Kyojin. And first impressions, an unboxing, yes. Scheduled unboxing. First impressions, scheduled unboxing. First impressions on the manga, scheduled unboxing, and another discussion video. So look forward to that. That's the story. I'm Bonkai922. See you guys later. Yo, Garp and Chinjao. Hockey on hockey. Cone head. He's a cone head, man. He's a cone head. But that's all I'm going to say. Chinjao for the motherfucking win. Coneheads for the motherfucking win. I'm Bonkai922. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.